Hi everyone. In this video, I'll discuss what employers, companies should do to avoid being sued by their workers, to avoid lawsuits. Number one, probably the most important, every company should have an employee handbook or manual. An employee handbook or manual is necessary to provide all employees with their policies and procedures for the company. It provides them with employee benefits. It should provide them with their time off, sick days, vacation days, their rate of pay. It should provide an anti-discrimination and retaliation policy, an anti-harassment policy. An employee handbook or manual should provide a complaint procedure in place if an employee were to complain of harassment, discrimination, retaliation, or any other workplace mishaps. The employee handbook should provide a disciplinary procedure. If an employee is a bad worker or does something wrong, does the company provide for a warning prior to writing up the employee, prior to suspending the employee, or ultimately terminating the employee? All these things are necessary because when an employee then later complains, you could point to the handbook and say, look, you're supposed to follow the handbook. This is what it says. Address it. Whether you run a small company or a large company, you need to have a complaint procedure in place. If you run a big company, you should have a human resources department that handles all types of workplace complaints and issues. If you run a small business and you can't afford a human resources department or a human resource coordinator, make sure you designate a supervisor or a manager that will address employee complaints of harassment or discrimination or retaliation. You should provide training, no matter the size of the business. Provide training to all of your employees, and includes upper-level management and supervisors, about what are the pitfalls in the workplace. Avoid unnecessary conduct, avoid unnecessary jokes or humor that could offend someone based on their race, religion, or some other discriminatory class. Avoid retaliating against an employee. Pay the employee proper wages. Employees and supervisors should be trained for that. And I think last but not least, in New York, and I'm talking about the 5 boroughs, New York City, a company will be strictly liable for the harassment or discrimination of its supervisor, and a supervisor is defined as someone that controls the daily activities of his or her employees. So a company will be strictly liable for the harassment or discrimination of a supervisor, even if the company does not know about the conduct. So be aware of that, train your employees, maintain a policy and handbook, and maintain a work environment free of discrimination and harassment.